Welcome. You're still tuned in to Salam Media, and this is Salam Media Updates. And we'll now be diving into, I think, the news that has grappled the world in the last few hours. The assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh by an Israel airstrike in Tehran. This shocking event has sparked strong reactions worldwide, including from pro-Palestine activism organizations here in South Africa. And joining us to share their perspectives and reactions are some of the most prominent figures from various organizations representing pro-Palestine organizations here in South Africa. And first and foremost, we'll be hearing from Naazim Adam, one of from the Palestinian Solidarity Alliance, who will be giving us their thoughts and their reaction to this very, very unfortunate, event that has happened. Brother Naazim, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media. Your mic is there we go.
Good to be with you, Salilo, again on the very distressing times with the assassination and the martyrdom of Sheikh Ismail Haniyeh. But our thoughts are with all the martyrs, all the prisoners, all the orphans of this genocide that are going on. And we pray for Allah to grant them the highest stages of Jannah and to give ease and comfort to the families and the survivors.
And I think, from a lot of people, the question that is going to arise right now is from a solidarity point of view, from those that are at home, the students in universities, those in solidarity organizations like yourselves, and the normal men and women who are very, very passionate and are very serious when it comes to the plight of the people of Palestine, and that being at the forefront and always in the conversation is, where to from here? What can I do when I'm at home or I'm at campus after this very, very, very unfortunate turn of events, which I think we can all agree that it takes this conflict to a whole other direction that was very, very unprecedented a few hours ago.
So, Lero, I think we need to be worried and seriously worried. For the past few months, there's been a roadmap towards a cessation of hostilities. There's been a proposal from Hamas on how to end the genocide and to create a ceasefire. Israel has rejected this. They've been putting unreasonable demands on the table for a ceasefire, clearly indicating that they don't want peace and they want to continue with the ethnic cleansing of Gaza and the destruction of nearly 2 million people's lives. The reports are that already we are looking at over 180,000 people that would have been killed by the time this massacre is over. In that, Netanyahu goes to the US, and it's no surprise that he came back with the green light to take out Ismail Haniyeh, the head of the political bureau of Hamas, the Islamic resistance movement, and to do it while he was visiting in Iran. So this is definitely going to be a huge escalation of the conflict into the region and into a massive war, because we know that they are planning to attack Lebanon. They bombed Beirut yesterday. So they have escalated the war in the region. We know that American forces are moving into the oceans around Lebanon. But we also know that both Russia and Iran have pledged to support Lebanon should there be an invasion from Israel. So it is really tough times, yes.
And from the Solidarity Alliance organizations like PSA, a message to your members, to those that have been following you throughout the country, and participating in the protests and the mass gatherings. What can they take out from all of this?
Look, I think there's certainly it's going to impact our lives. We must not. For one minute, think that war in the Middle East is not going to impact us economically and socially in South Africa. It will impact on the whole world. there is a brazen attempt for a power grab and dominance. We're seeing the same thing happening in Venezuela with the United States not accepting the democratic election of Maduro and trying to spark some sort of revolt. We are thus all going to be impacted by this, and we need to be vigilant, and we need to be active, and we need to build our solidarity even more. There is a place for protest and raising our voices and holding our government to a higher standard. We know they have done well. They've taken us to the ICJ. They've taken the Palestine case to the ICJ. But there are people in this country that still openly support the sorry.
Mm-hmm.
There are people in our country that openly support Zionism and the settler movement, the annexation of Palestinian territories, the destruction of Gaza, the genocide. And so we're saying there needs to be justice, and those people need to be held to account. There should be no place in South Africa for people that support apartheid and racism as vile as the ones that we're seeing coming out of Israel today. I mean, what kind of society protests against its military for charging soldiers for raping prisoners and asking for immunity for those soldiers? It's just a sickening society, and they keep just falling into the depths of depravity all the time. In terms of the passing of Ismail Haniyeh, we're saying that we will mourn this. We have a Salatul Ghaib tonight after Isha at the Nurul Islam Mosque in Lenasia. We're asking people to join us for that Salatul Ghaib, and there will be a few talks and tributes to Shahid Sheikh Ismail Haniyeh. So that is one of the actions that we are doing. We have a whole range of other programs that are working towards the isolation and of Israel and holding it to account for its gross human rights violations and crimes against humanity. Legal campaigns, the sports boycott campaign. So there's space for everyone to work in this movement. We've got to also engage with all our politicians. We don't ever want a situation like the US Congress where people stand up and applaud a narcissistic maniac like Netanyahu. So yeah, it's tough times. We need to redouble our efforts, and with the will of Allah, this is also a sign that they are on the decline. We know that Netanyahu is doing this simply to hold on to a little bit of power that he has left, because should there not be a war, Netanyahu would not be in power. But they have lagged around him as the Israeli society, and we need to then redouble our efforts because just like we know that when we lost Chris Hani on the eve of our democratic transition, these murders, these mass murders, these assassinations, these hit squads are just a sign of a dying horse, and the total end of Israel is not far away. And we're reminded of the ayahs of the Quran, which is that we should not for one moment think that they are not suffering. They are suffering as much as we are suffering as the enemies of all that is good. My sense is that we need to send a strong message to the Arab and Muslim world, to the freedom-loving world, that we need to be vigilant because what they have done with Ismail Haniyeh and countless of assassinations, not a new thing that Israel has done. They've had impunity and assassinated and killed people, from cartoonists to political leaders like Ismail Haniyeh, to journalists and even human rights activists and witnesses. Rachel Corrie comes to mind. So they will continue to do this. And they for the Arab world, for the Arab leaders, it's an awakening to say that this is not far away from happening to you. They will not stop. Until they have their Eretz Israel, their greater Israel. And we need to be vigilant, and we need to stop this now. We need the Arab world to unite and to stand firm and impose sanctions and break all relations with the apartheid state of Israel. And we need the South African government to do the same.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Nazim, thank you so much for giving us your time and giving us your reaction. We'll be, keeping a close eye on the story, and I'm sure we'll be chatting as more information unfolds around this. But we're going to leave it here for now.
Shukran.
Uh, Walaikum salam. That was Naazim Adam from PSA, Palestine Solidarity. And after him, then we'll be chatting to Roshan Dadu after this short break. He's from the SAPDS coalition, the spokesperson of that organization. And we'll be speaking to other Palestine Solidarity organizations that are here in South Africa to get their reactions to the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh. And we'll be speaking to Roshan Dadu right after this.